Hey, this, I do this for real. And side note, I do this for a living and for fun. So when you ask me what I do for fun, this.
Allow the road ahead of you to speak louder than the one behind you. Period. Welcome back, everybody. I am back. I am going to give y'all some quick little notes. We're going to talk some more about sacred contracts. I don't know if that's the only thing we'll be talking about, because I must be honest. For the past few days, with me not being able to really speak, I have so much that I want to talk about. So many things, and I am a little conflicted on if I want to just chat with y'all, or if I want to stick to giving you the rest of this information about these contracts. Now, if I waver, just bear with me, okay? Because at the end of the day, I promise you, you are going to get some type of information that will be useful and helpful, all right? So, let's just start off where we left off, okay? Let's get into Sacred Contracts Part 4. Are we on Part 4, y'all? Again, bear with me. Part 4. All right. So, the last video, I want to say the last thing that I said in that video was about forgiving and resentment and refusing a spiritual task or lesson will only hurt you because it's repetitive. Yeah. All right. So, now we are talking about contracts and myth. So, contracts and myth speaks about how we have messengers or an angelic intervention. So an example is like feeling a presence and hearing the words slow down and we avoid a crash. I don't know about y'all, but I have had and experienced a lot of those moments. Those moments where we stay a little bit longer somewhere, or a red light stops us, or, all of a sudden there's a delay. Like, don't always look at those moments as something standing in your way or keeping you from where you're trying to get. Like, a lot of times, those itty bitty moments that seem so big to us and our attitudes and egos at the time are the moments that's saving us, okay? So, you know how we had the moments where we be like, something told me, or I had a feeling. Those moments. Those are moments of having messengers or angelic interventions, if you will. Just because certain situations or wants don't go how we normally expect it, doesn't mean that it's out of our reach. It simply means there's a different way written in our contract for us to obtain what we ask for. So it talks about having children, for an example. Okay? So I know that there are several different reasons as to why some can't. And when you think about someone who really wants to have kids, right? Their point of view, that's like all they want to do. And they're technically, for the most part, they're only thinking about it one way. Like, there's only one way written for me to have a child. Is it though? Because the story that I was reading talks about how this lady, She wanted to have a child. She had given up, it was just a struggle altogether. She had tried several different things, etc. But this one day, her friend called her, and her friend was telling her how she had got this job at this, I don't want to say it was an orphanage, but something similar. Let's call it an adoption agency. Her friend got this job in an adoption agency. And the night before, she had a dream where an angel basically came to her in her dream and told her, "You will meet your son tomorrow." Now, we're human. You know how some of us get. Like, what you mean tomorrow? It takes 9 months, I hadn't done this. Complicated. Sometimes we make things so complicated. Anyways, the angel came to the lady, told her she would meet her son tomorrow. Fast forward the next day, her friend calls her. Her friend gets a job from the adoption agency, and there's this little boy who needs a placement. And at that moment, she had that intuitive feeling where she basically blurted out, "I will take him. That's my son." So, did she have a child? Yes. Did she have a child, quote unquote, what we consider to be normal, most popular, worldly way? No. So again, just because certain situations or wants don't go how we normally expect them, doesn't mean that it's out of reach. It simply means there's a different way written in our contracts for us to obtain what we ask. Okay, so then it goes a little bit deeper, and it talks about the river of forgetfulness or mindfulness. Now, don't really ask me how we got here, because technically I'm not sure myself. However, flow with it. Flow with it. Go with it. It talks about the river of forgetfulness. Because, okay, here we go. If we knew the life we chose, we suffer greatly and we learn nothing. The river of forgetfulness or mindfulness is the final step before coming to the physical plane. So you go through, think about the movie Soul, right? For those who've seen Soul. You go through, you pick your lifestyles, you pick what you want to look like. Some people, I guess, some could say have a choice. I don't know if everybody has a choice. I'm kind of in limbo on that. I feel I have different views on that, but follow me. You do all these, you see what this life is about. You know what you are coming back here to learn and work for, and you go through this last process, which is the river of forgetfulness. Because if we remember the life we chose when we came here, we suffer greatly and we learn nothing. We would fail to reach our greatest potential. Why? Because we already know everything. We already know who to avoid. We already know who is going to make us happy, who is going to break our hearts. We already know when traumas come. We already know. And I mean, I know a bunch of y'all are thinking like, that don't sound too bad. And I get it. But if you know all beforehand, what are you here for? What are you learning, right? We chose the lives we live based off the templates or samples, unless we are returning from a past life. However, the life package we choose has no definite character. We supply the character as we interact with the lives and challenges we have contracted for. So, Even if we do know technically what our life may look like beforehand, it's still not going to give us a full picture because we are the character. So, are we really, who really wants that? It sounds easy, but is easy always the greater choice? Okay, I'm rambling a little bit. So, moving on. It speaks about the hero's journey. Okay? Now, this was a little interesting. Actually, the entire book is interesting. However, this caught my attention. The hero's journey begins with the process of separation or alienation from the tribe, followed by a series of difficult challenges the hero must meet alone. The journey brings self-doubt and loss of faith, then results in a vital transformation and a renewal of trust, which then turns into a revelation of some new knowledge, insight, or wisdom. The hero then returns to the tribe to impart insight, which isn't always welcome when we return home. Pause right there. Think about spirituality as a whole. We can even think outside of spirituality, right? We go off or we venture off into something that most people don't or are afraid of, or they don't have time for. They feel like that's beneath them. That is too normal. That is too, quote unquote, low vibrational, right? But when we do it, we learn something beneficial for those we love, family, friends, etc. So we come back. We learn, we obtain this knowledge, and then some people even will say, oh, I tried that. You learned nothing. Oh, I did that. Don't even waste your time. Just because it didn't work for them does not mean it will not work for you. So, the hero's journey. Venturing off alone, where you have to face challenges, you have to face difficulties, you sometimes lack in faith. And it transforms you because you are on this journey. You have to really search and look deep within and look at things from a different perspective. And based upon my journey into deeper into spirituality, it can get lonely in the beginning. Technically, yeah, it can. It can. See, I can kind of contradict myself now, but technically in the beginning it can. However, you begin to, after you go through that rough patch, you begin to learn things. You begin to dive deeper into things. You begin to seek. And you see how it helps you. So you try to go back to those you love, to those who you are associated with, and you try to help them. Spread knowledge, spread wisdom, hey, I just learned this. And instead of it taking you 3 years to figure this out, let me help you. Let me show you another way. Some people purposely will brush you off, even if they know that you are telling the truth, simply because it's you. Simply because you were the one who figured it out. Anyway, the hero then returns to the tribe to impart insight, which isn't always welcome when we return home. Oftentimes, you will get further with complete strangers than you will with people who you have been around your whole entire life, because of things that I just stated plus more. When you learn things, especially in spirituality, when you learn things, you learn a different meaning of things, you look at life in a different way, when you do try to go home, or you do want to, instill wisdom and knowledge to other people, those who you know, your presence will unsettle those who are unaware that other truths and lives exist beyond our physical routines, which causes fear. The information that you have ventured off and found out, no matter what that may be, is not always going to be accepted, because you have broke a barrier where your presence alone, people, your presence alone will have people unsettled, because you are about to say something or do something that's outside of the normal, outside of the matrix, beyond our physical routine. And that triggers people. Why does it trigger people? Because people have fears. Some people know their fears. Some people will come off like, don't bring that over here. I love Jesus. I am saved. And I did not read none of that nowhere what you're talking about. I don't think that's right. I love Jesus too. The thing about me is that doesn't stop me from seeking. That doesn't stop me from going further, diving deeper. And I am always willing to help somebody, but I will not force anybody to take what it is that I'm trying to share with them. You have free will, you have a choice. Just don't waste my time. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We or others fear the disruption of those said truths, and that pursuing our divine potential will create, even through our everyday comfort, it will be disrupted. If it is standing in the way of our contract, becoming aware and or conscious of your contract, as opposed to living in an unconscious way, causes you to go through a painful process of severance, because you are no longer a part of a tribal mind. That's the thing. When you start this journey, when you start to really go deep within yourself, when you start to do shadow work, when you start to ground, to meditate, to connect with higher spirits, to connect with your guides, to really take this thing as serious and as real as it is, you don't think the same. You can't think the same, because you're going through a process that is going to require you to elevate. Not only the way that you process things, your vibrations, you go through ascensions, you grow. You are not meant to stay the same. And staying the same is boring. Okay? It's boring. Who really wants the same old every day? Some people do. So, if you do, I guess. But what I'm saying is, when you go through these awakenings, that's what it's called. It's called an awakening for a reason. It's called ascensions for a reason. It's called elevation for a reason. It's called separation for a reason. You are not meant to be the same. You're not meant to think the same. You're not meant to walk the same, act the same. Sometimes you have people who say they don't even recognize you. You don't even look the same. And if people tell me that, I say, thank you so much. I have really been working. I've really been working on that. However, severance from the tribe can lead to something beneficial to the survival of the universe, or the universal human tribe. So, think about Jesus, Moses, Abraham, Muhammad. Did everybody accept Jesus? I'm just saying. Did they? And then, what was the main reason why they didn't? Did Jesus go against code? Ain't that what they call it now? Going against code? Did he go against the norm at the time? Did he introduce things that created fear in those who couldn't understand it? So let me back up, because we will go through the 5 stages of a sacred contract, but what I just shared, actually, before that, is the themes or soul tasks that appear in those stages. Spirit said, go back, so we're going back, okay? So, prophets went through a renunciation of their previous life or before their awakening, and their identity was reborn with a new identity. Each also renamed to recognize their spiritual attainment. We are not meant to stay the same. Again, I need everyone to understand that. So, there's a ritual soul naming that occurs when an individual can no longer be recognized as himself, herself, normal self, okay, by society. When you evolve, like the prophets, for instance, beyond your human function into an eternal self, a universe leader, or embodiment of a greater truth, I don't think y'all understanding what I'm saying. Are y'all hearing me? So, again, think of Abram, right? Abram eventually evolved into Abraham. Jesus, the Messiah. Then after his death, the Christ, and so on. Y'all, I need y'all to sit with that for a minute. Sit with that. Each is renamed to recognize their spiritual attainment. We are not meant to stay the same. There is a ritual that occurs when an individual can no longer be recognized as normal self by society. A soul naming also represents a conscious fulfillment of the necessary task of service, your sacred contract. The individual has come fully into his or her power, even though he or she has not yet completed his contract of life. Do y'all know how crazy that is? How crazy it is to know that you can elevate to such a level. You can become fully in your power, even though you're not even done. Even though your contract is not even finished. Even though your time on earth is not even finished. I don't know about anybody else, but listen, I was excited, okay? Before I got this book, I would always think more, higher. How do I become the highest of the highest of the highest version of myself? Because people have this misunderstanding that once you fulfill your purpose, your time is up, you're removed. You transcend. You transition to another plane, a higher plane. But does that technically mean you slow down? Like, don't get me wrong. I don't want people to feel like if I learn too much, if I grow too much, if I elevate too much, that means I gotta get up out of here. I I don't want you to think like that. I don't know your contract. I'm helping you learn your contract. But I am telling you that it is possible for you to fully come into your power before you've even completed this life cycle. From that point on, he or she only operates from the power of the soul and only speaks from the voice of the soul. So the soul is given a new name. Your ego or your former self is no longer dominant. It becomes a servant, companion, a vehicle, right? Through which your soul communicates messages from the divine. So, there is no way possible that anybody can elevate, grow, walk in their purpose, learn knowledge of self, and stay the same. And when you are really, really dedicated to it, when you are extremely dedicated to it, when it becomes your way of life, when you have the power of the soul, and that's the only way you operate, and the voice of the soul is the only way you speak, like, that's such a huge accomplishment. I really don't. I can't really think of nothing better. Okay? Like, I'm trying to work on. Let me remove try. Because I got this one sister who hate the word try. But let's just keep it for right now. Okay, I'm working on fully obtaining that power, okay? So, great missions. You need to accept that only through acting to uncover your contract will it be revealed to you. You cannot be sitting around here doing your same old spiritual routine every day, or your same old play it safe in a sense every day, and expect for something to just come to you. That's just like anything else that you want. Faith without work is dead. How many times have we heard that? The only way to uncover your contract is you need to accept that you have to act through it. You need to accept that only acting through it will uncover your contract, will your contract be revealed to you. Even the greatest of the greatest, the masters of the universe, if you will, face challenges. Those who we all know about face challenges and wondering why they had to do something or if they were on the right path. It's not just us. And it was actually something in the book that I just saw. I need to find it so that I can tell y'all about it. I need to find it. Anyway, it'll come back to it. It'll come back to me. Our contracts aren't identical. However, we can still learn to recognize the basic outline of the unfolding of our contracts through the stories of the masters. Now, the stories of the masters. The first, it goes over the first sacred contract, and I'll just give you a little bit of it. And then the next video, I will dive deeper into it. But it speaks on the story of Abram, and it talks about the new covenant between God, Abram, and his offsprings. That is the first officially declared sacred contract that's on record, supposedly. From research purposes, I'm guessing, of this book. But it talks about how Abram is sent off. Y'all know the story, but if y'all don't know the story, it talks about how he was sent off on a mission, if you will, and the ways that he chose to operate within his mission, even knowing that he had a contract with a higher power. Even with knowing he had the contract with the higher power, he sometimes did not choose to do things as if he knew he had a contract, as if he knew he was going to be okay, protected, saved, watched over, etc. So, we will get more into that on the next video. Again, it is so much that just by me being silent for the past few days, as much as I possibly can, because those who know, it's so much that's been uncovered, revealed to me, and sometimes that's all we need to do. We just need to sit in solitude with self. And when you sit in solitude with self, you would be surprised on how much you hear, you see. That's so loud. It's so loud and in your face, but it's only when you really sit with self can you see it, can you notice it, can you even obtain it, absorb it. Thank you guys for checking out this video. I will have more for you really, really soon. I hope you guys stay safe. Hope you are learning something. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Be blessed, and don't be afraid to elevate. Don't be afraid to step outside of the normal. Don't be afraid to seek those things that others fear. Love you guys.